Hi, boys and girls. Today in Bible, we're going to learn about Jesus as a servant. In today's story, it focuses on Jesus during the last few hours before his crucifixion. God's plan was being fulfilled, and Jesus was preparing himself and his disciples for his death. Jesus was still teaching his disciples during these last hours. In this story, Jesus was going to take on a servant's role and wash his disciples' feet. People in Israel wore sandals, so their feet became dusty or muddy as they walked on dirt roads. When they entered someone's house, a servant removed their sandals and washed their feet. This was considered a lowly task. No one expected a visitor or an important person to wash their feet. In the story, the disciples were embarrassed when Jesus washed their feet, a chore that was meant for a servant. Jesus here is teaching his disciples and us that we too need to be servants and to love one another, and that none of Jesus' followers is greater than another. Here's today's Bible story. Like a servant. It was nearly time for the Passover feast. A kind man had set aside a room for the disciples to prepare for it. That night, when they were eating, Jesus left the table, wrapped a towel around his waist, filled a basin with water, and then, kneeling on the floor, began to wash and dry the disciples' feet like a servant. The disciples were speechless, but when he knelt before Simon Peter, the disciple protested, "Lord, you mustn't wash my feet." Jesus gently replied, "You do not understand what I am doing, but later it will be clear to you. Unless I wash you, you won't really belong to me." Then Peter begged him to wash his hands and head too. But Jesus answered, "If you have bathed, then you only need to wash your feet. Your body is clean." Jesus had washed their feet like a servant, so that they could learn to do the same for one another. And we know, boys and girls, that Jesus was not only a servant here, but he is also a king who has power over all things, even death. And we can praise God for that. For today's assignment, I want you to draw and color a picture of today's story and retell today's story in at least 5 sentences. And I want you to tell me one way in which you can be a servant and show love to someone else. Boys and girls, I hope you have a great day today. I miss you. Bye.